And this is something you pulled off the website?
Yeah, these are off the website. It's the original property acquisition. You can use them if you want to, if you don't.
Yeah, actually, basically what he just went through and showed you was the original beginnings of this project when we went through the community outreach. One of the things that was done across the community as a whole in Santa Clarita was a needs assessment for all the different communities, and something that we clearly need out here is a Canyon Country Community Center. So, we didn't want to sit in City Hall at the other side of town, and actually I live right around the corner. I'm literally walking distance to the community center, or the new location. And we didn't want to sit on the other side of town and suppose what everybody wanted. So we did a lot of community outreach. We had a lot of public meetings, and basically went out to the community and said, what is it you want? What kind of programming and activities do you want inside the building? And what are the amenities that you would like around the park? And went through quite a series of public outreach meetings, surveys. I remember going to a couple community meetings at the Canyon Country Library, and then the site plan, or the conceptual site plan, was then born. As you can see, it's quite an animated drawing. It was the very, very early stages, and this is before we even considered what we were going to do for the design. Yeah, this is the same one. So we've gone through a lot of changes since then. The park site has grown. It's changed a little bit. The community center has already been through the environmental process, and through the environmental process, we actually enlarged the size a little bit to be able to accommodate things we'd like to see on this side of town. You had made a comment that, we have events every once in a while in Canyon Country, and everything seems to happen on the other side of the town. So things that we'd like to see actually inside the community building, which you're seeing there in white, is things like maybe the state of the city and different larger events to come to this side of the town. So when we originally designed the building, we had a little bit smaller rooms, and we really wanted to take a look at those things and try to bring them to our side of town. So we have increased the building and changed some things around to make sure that that can happen. So we're really excited about that. We've had a lot of input, not only from the community, but from all the different departments in the city. It's really important from a recreation standpoint, a programming standpoint, a maintenance standpoint, parks and all the outside facilities. One of the things that was really important to make sure we're giving a long-term sustainable project that is really good for the community for a long time is really involving all the different divisions in the city who are going to operate it, maintain it, and program it, to make sure we had everybody's buy-in, everybody's expertise. We have a lot of city employees that have been with us for a really long time and have been involved in a lot of projects like this, so we really value their opinion. And from the very beginning, we got everybody involved and very engaged in the process. So this is where we started from. The basic layout is still kind of the same, but we have expanded on it. One of the things that's going to be really nice is, we do have the Mint Canyon channel that runs through the property, which I'm sure everybody is aware of, is right now is just an open channel. And ironically enough, I happen to be the floodplain manager for the city as well, so I've been doing that for about the last 13 years. And so I was able to be involved in making sure that all of those regulations and requirements were met as well. And it's an open channel right now. As you know, it's not very attractive. It is maintained by the County of Los Angeles and will be continued to be maintained by the County of Los Angeles once it's done. But we will be taking the channel and covering it. We will not be doing it the full length of the project. Again, this was a very early stage concept plan. But to the right, where you see that light green swervy, that is representative of where the Mint Canyon channel is, but we will be leading the open ends of it at the north side of the park and the south side of the park to make sure they can still drive in and get their equipment and maintain and clean the channel. This silts up quite a bit, and they have to get access to it a couple times a year to be able to go in there and clean it. But the beautiful thing is about 2/3 of it will be covered, so we will be able to put an access trail and trees and landscaping things to make it a little bit nice, and also try to buffer it to our next door neighbors, because we want to have as little impact as possible on the mobile home park next door. So as you were mentioning earlier, there are different parcels involved. In the middle, pretty much right in the center of the site plan, is a parcel. It is owned by Los Angeles County, and we obviously wanted to incorporate it into the site to make sure we had consistency. And right now, up in the right-hand corner off of Solomon, where you're seeing that tot lot, we're going to actually change the tot lot, put it in a different location, and allow that to be the staging and access for the county to be able to go in and maintain their channels. And the other thing that's nice about it is when they're not using it, which is most of the year, if we have events, we need additional parking, we're going to have agreements with Los Angeles County to also be able to use that in a parking lot for overflow in case we have a situation where we don't have enough parking, although we have a lot of parking on the site, so I'm not super concerned. So We are still maintaining the outdoor amphitheater. To the left, you see a Mercado area. That normally would be another parking area. It accommodates quite a few cars. But on the weekends, we'll be able to do our own type of farmers markets and that kind of thing, so you don't have to drive all the way to College of the Canyons to get your fresh fruit. And we will have pass-throughs along the front. And then we have another huge, large parking lot on the bottom below the community center building. And then on the very corner, I'm sure you all are aware, you saw, I think we had the demolition exhibit the other day, and we had everybody to let everybody know that we're going to start getting rid of the building on the corner that we have purchased and will be demolished for purposes. And that's what we're going to really try to do, is make a nice entry, a nice plaza, maybe some art, have it a really nice entrance feature into the park to make it nice on the corner. So where we are today, we're getting really far in the design with the channel improvements with the Los Angeles County. It's been a very beneficial project for both of us. They've been very cooperative, and it's been a really nice relationship and partnership working with the county and getting that done. The building itself, we're still not in final approval. That's why I kind of didn't want to bring anything out to give any expectations, but we pretty much have the floor plan nailed down for the center itself, and we have some really nice things. One of the things that I think is really interesting that we're doing in this community center that we haven't done anywhere else is we usually have a warming kitchen. So if you want to come in and you want to have an event in the multipurpose room, you have a kitchen for the purpose of warming, but you can't really cook there because there's health regulations and stuff. And what we're doing a little different, which was requested by the community, is to have like a teaching a kitchen demonstration. It's still not going to be commercial, but we're going to be able to have cooking classes and demonstrations and things like that. So we're having a really nice sized kitchen in it, which will also support the functions that we'll see in the multipurpose rooms. We'll have a nice regular high school sized gym that's going to accommodate open play as well as tournaments, volleyball, pickleball, all the other type of things that gyms do. And then we'll have your typical multi-purpose classrooms and arts and class and programming for not only the arts and crafts type of things, but dance classes and fitness classes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of outside courtyard areas. It's just, I think it's going to be a really beautiful project for this corner, and it's going to be something this community really needs. Like right now, I think most of you know we have a temporary Canyon Country Community Center that's off of Flying Tiger. It's less than 5,000 square feet, and it's just so crammed to the walls, and they're so excited to be able to get out there and get into something that they can really function out of. So that's the basic all concept. We are in the design phase still. We have to do things before we actually go out and construct. There's a certain amount of grading, preparing for the building pads, channel improvements. We expect to go out with what we're calling phase one of the project, which is that in the fall, to start construction in early 2019. And then when we get all the grading and the groundwork that we need to do, we'll be moving into phase two, which is the actual construction of the center and the rest of the park improvements, and then the rest of the off-site street improvements that have to go along with it. So that's where we're at. We're very heavily into design. Just had a structural meeting this morning. We actually had the first round of our structural for the building, so we're excited to see things coming together. So we met with the structural engineer to go over kind of their first round design of what's going on, and we think it's going to really be a beautiful project that we're very excited about. So that's where we're at. I know I'm going to watch the clock to make sure I don't go over my time, but I'm certainly open to questions if anybody has anything that they'd like to know about the center other than anything I haven't told you.
Microphone. I got to get up to this thing. Yeah, the only question I have is you mentioned that there's going to be classes there for the arts and so forth. Is this going to be under the auspices of the city's park department? Because they do that.
Well, our Parks and Recreation is the people who will run and program it. And okay. Actually, a lot of the programming has been decided, again, based on that community input. And I actually was surprised myself how many different things. They're going to have after-school programs for kids. They're going to have art classes, dance classes, fitness classes. There's just going to be such an array of things there that will be, available to all ages, which is really nice. It's not like it's just a youth thing. It's going to be really good for all ages.
Okay. Douglas Frazier. Not gonna work. Anyway, the tot area, are you planning any kind of like half pipe or a quarter pipe for skateboarders or anything like that?
No, it'll simply just be a passive playground.
So, and then there's a half court basketball somewhere?
Correct.
Outside?
Right now it's being shown right next to the tot lot. We're kind of right now preliminary deciding them to move them more to the north part of the site over by the amphitheater, because again, we're going to be using the area where it's shown right now for the Los Angeles County staging area.
So why have you decided not to have any kind of skate area or bike area for teenagers?
I don't know if you're aware that we have the skate park over it, but this is just not a big enough facility to house that type of facility. We don't really have the space for all of the other things that were asked for. And actually, that did come up in the public comment when we were going through the outreach a couple years ago. But it really wasn't high on the priority list for this side of town because it was we have the skate park at the main center town, but we really just didn't have the space for it here.
Anybody else? I got another question.
Okay.
The red area where you're talking about parking and little patios or something?
Are you talking about up there to the left?
On the left?
Yes.
Yeah. That's going to be parking?
It's going to be parking, and it'll also be able to be used and be closed for Mercado and farmers market type events.
Will those just be individually coming off Sierra Highway, or is that you come in and then you divide up?
Actually, it's going to be a pass-through. Again, this was not made in plans with what actually was going to be ingress, egress. This simply was a concept plan based on the needs of the amenities wanted in the parks and in the building. This isn't showing a lot of things that's going off. Do you see the main parking lot in the south below the building? That's going to actually have a pass-through that's going to go all the way to the Mercado area. And in the Mercado area, you're going to have access up there again from Sierra Highway and that north parking lot. And the thing about it is we're also going to have a turnaround in front of the community center that if we do want to close down the Mercado and have that parking lot as an event, then we can also still have an ability for people to be dropped off in front of the center and turn around and go back to the main parking lot below the building.
Is the exit for the parking lot on the south side going to come out through the restaurants, or is that not?
Well, we're going to have, we're maintaining Toppers.
On Sullivan.
Well, yeah, Toppers is going to maintain their separate parcel. We don't own them. They're going to be maintaining their entrances. And then we already have an existing entrance that's on Sierra Highway into the lot that's next to the lot we bought. And we're going to be shifting it slightly for the traffic improvements, but we're still going to maintain that entrance and exit there.
But that's going to be right turn only.
Correct.
Out of that parking.
Yeah, that's what it is right
now.
now.
The upper
anyway.
parking lot, is it going to be right turn only, or is there going to be able to come across that? You know, you have 4 lanes of traffic there. And then is the Dolan Way going to end up with the traffic lights so people can do U-turns, or how?
Dolan is not going to be. We actually did a traffic study as part of the environmental to see what the traffic counts were and what would be required. So Sierra Highway, just for safety, is all still going to be right turn out. Dolan is not getting a traffic signal. We're providing additional improvements on Dolan Way and Solomon to be able to provide safe ingress and egress for all the exits. And another thing we're doing because of the right turn on Dolan, we don't want people turning left there because it's not very safe, so we're going to be providing just up Sierra past that an opportunity for a U-turn.
Yeah, when you turn out 20, 30 cars from an event, you're going to end up several accidents trying to...
We're going to actually block it with, there's certain median modifications you can make so they can't turn left, and then once they turn right, we will give them an opportunity just up the street to make a U-turn if they need to.
Okay.
You know, again, we do have a traffic study. You can't do something like this and not make impacts, but as part of this traffic study, you have to mitigate. And so all the mitigation measures, those are actually public documents you can see on our website associated with the project, because the environmental document is approved, and part of that is this traffic study, and it basically shows you the impacts, but also the things you have to do to mitigate. For example, we'll be putting in a right turn pocket westbound on Soledad to Sierra, so you're not backing up traffic. So there are going to be traffic mitigations based on the impacts that were presented.
Because Toppers Pizza's complaining about already that they're going to be going in and out on one section.
Yeah, we're aware.
You've got to come out Sand Canyon and make a left turn or a right turn.
We are definitely, like I said, we're making street improvements around the entire perimeter of the park on all 4 sides, and so we're going to try to make sure that we are mitigating as much as we can any traffic impacts.
So how many more people are going to be out with this project concerned?
I'm sorry?
How many more people are going to
Are you talking about, no, this is actually a full community center for all ages. It's a, no. Oh, this is right on the corner of Sierra Highway and Soledad. This is right down the street from here. I'm sorry? I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
This is a community center.
This is a community center.
There's no
The traffic out there is horrible. They just had 4 accidents on 14th Freeway.
I'm certainly not going to argue with you. Traffic in Santa Clarita is a problem.
Well, Bob Keller says, they're going to put the homes out in Sand Canyon up there, but they're going to put another accident there. I live in Golden Valley, and you can't even get off my damn street now and up on the freeway. So it's, it's going to get worse.
We suggested Solomon Road is barely 2 lanes at the north end, and we asked to have that widened.
It is going to be.
Is it going to be widened?
Yeah, that's one of the things we had to work on with the county, because when you get to north end of Soledad, you also have the culvert that goes underneath. And right now, we need to place like a sidewalk over the gravel area.
Doug.
So that's one of the things we've been working on and came to agreement within the last couple of weeks is because as you go down Soledad, you have the narrowing. We do have reserved right-of-way there that we will be taking, and we're going to try to make it as consistent and safe all the way down. So
Especially if everybody has to go up to Dolan, make a right, and come down Solomon.
Yeah. Part of the street improvements we're doing are specifically in that area, Solomon.
Very good.
Any other questions? Yes.
You had mentioned that there's going to be an amphitheater.
Right. It's not like a full concert thing like you're thinking of. So
yeah,
it's
because
just going to be.
we have proposed. I've
No.
seen it written that we're exploring the possibility of having an amphitheater in Santa Clarita, but this is not.
This is not what you're thinking of.
Okay,
no.
where
This
is it?
Really
where is it
more,
on here, though?
You see the very top.
Me, right?
Right. I would really call this more of an event stage. Yeah.
Okay, so is that?
This is an event stage. It is not intended to be an amphitheater.
So what is it going to be?
It's really small things. They're going to be limited on times. Like if someone wants to come in with a couple speakers and play guitar, it's not going to be full-blown concerts. It's not even going to be like regular concert seating. It's going to be a grass area similar to the event stage they have over off the Old Road in the big shopping center. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes.
Right. So very close. It's going to be something very similar to that. So it's only going to be on the weekends. It's not going to be during the week.
No lights on the side for night events or anything like that?
Right. It's nothing major big. Like I know what you're talking about, and there is a feasibility study being done in the city for an amphitheater, but you're talking a 3,000 to 6,000 event.
Right.
This is a simple event stage, very similar to the one in the marketplace.
Okay.
Very small, very low key. We even have like decibel limitations in the environmental document that if they do perform, they have to stop by a certain time. They can't go over a certain decibel. So it's an event stage. It's not an amphitheater.
This is all mobile home.
Correct.
Yeah, and so these are a lot of my senior people live in this area, and this is in pretty close proximity. I just want to make sure that we're not doing things at night.
We're working very carefully with them. One of the things that we're doing, as a matter of fact, we're getting very close to doing outreach because we're starting to get more into the design of the channel and the impacts to them. One of the things that is going to be required is landscape buffers and all kinds of things to make sure, and we will actually be doing a lot of outreach to the mobile home park to let them know what's going on, to make sure that they understand that we're trying to minimize their impacts and to make sure we're hearing them and what they need. But we have definitely buffering that we're planning between the park site and that mobile home.
Okay, but will especially our seniors who are living in the mobile home park and even other residents, would they be able to have easy access to get in to the park, or they're going to have to go around to the front gate?
There would be
or
pedestrian access off Soledad.
Okay, but
will
it go either direction, because they're going to be afraid that people are going to be, those are going to be gated?
No.
So that some people who might be here in this park might then have access to their residence here. Is that not correct?
Well,
how are you going to keep the people from coming through this access here? If we're allowing people to go this way, how are you going to keep people from going this way?
I'll come over here and show you over here.
Okay.
This is already an access road that the county owns. This is a complete gate, and that's not going to change. We're not going to let people come through the mobile home park. Whoops.
I see.
Once you get here, this is where you start getting to the public access, and there's going to be a
and I see this arrow right here. Does this arrow mean, like this one mean, this arrow means it goes in, but these are not going to be accessed. They're just, okay, good. So that, I'm sorry, so then this is the access. They won't be, nobody can go this way into the mobile home park. Okay.
There will be absolutely no access to the mall.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't think it's going to want to say after a really good job. Actually, you can probably take it down. Okay, any more questions?
Anybody have any other questions? All right, Christina.
All right.
Thank you very much.